everyone, I'm Carm.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're
S&C. So September's book was Lies We Tell Ourselves by Talley. And it did not disappoint. It was definitely different from the last one we did, which was
If I Never Met
You, which was a little more lighthearted. This was written a few years back. It's definitely not a latest release, but it could not be more fitting to what's happening right now with the Black Lives Matter movement and just all the political tension that's happening in the States. Different than what we normally read, and we haven't read a young adult book in a while, so it was definitely, it was a different pace.
Yeah.
Of course,
The dialogue was different.
Yes, it was, yeah. So, different from the books we've read in the past, but interesting all the same. We're gonna go over the 8 questions that we have for the book club, for this book, and introduce you to October's book of the month.
So let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it.
First things first, I'm just going to say it was very different than what I thought it was going to be, and I feel like maybe that was my fault, but also the synopsis that the book cover, like the sleeve, the inside sleeve and the back cover gives, doesn't actually get into every single point that the book covers.
Yes.
So I'll give you the synopsis, which it says, "We round the corner, across the street, Jefferson High School sweeps into view. The white people are spread out across the front steps and the massive parking lot. Now I know why we could hear the crowd so well. There must be hundreds of them, the whole student body all standing there waiting. They're watching us, they're shouting." And the inside says, "In 1959 Virginia, the lives of 2 girls on opposite sides of the battle for civil rights will be changed forever." So let's just get into our discussion questions. So the first is, which event in the story causes all others?
This is always the one we have the most drama over.
This one I don't think we're going to have.
No?
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's when she signs up for the club.
No, it's when they go to the school. It's when the integration
No, it's not. That's the first thing.
Yeah, it causes all.
That's the introduction.
I believe it causes all. It's the action that causes all others. Just because it happened, this book happened to be in the beginning.
Agree to disagree. I believe it's when she said yes to the club.
Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, moving on to question number 2.
So question number 2 is, what is the book's climactic scene and how did the author build up to it?
So I think that the book's climatic scene was when Chuck was being beaten
and bleeding
on
out
the street.
Yes, I agree.
By all.
And then Sarah finds him first, and then. Well, no, they're all there. They're there. The white kids are there doing the action, and then Sarah finds him, and Linda wants to help in some way. Yes,
and she builds up to it by a confrontation at the spring concert.
Yes, yeah.
And that Sarah bumps into him, and he's drunk and inebriated.
Yes.
Does the book's ending resolve the plot? If it doesn't, do you think it was intentional, and what else do you want to know?
I feel the ending was like a little bit of a cop-out.
I think that the ending of the book resolves the plot story.
Yes.
Does it resolve the overall theme? No, because as we know, we are still fighting civil rights to this day.
So it couldn't. Yes,
no,
exactly.
Yeah.
And were they... And exactly, that's why. It's like, were they gonna tell their parents that they're lovers? No,
they were having nothing
to do with the. Because at the end of the day, they were able to be together.
It was about racial inequality and also sexuality.
So just like Carmelina, yes, I do think the book came to an ending that. Like Carmelina said, you can't resolve something that isn't resolved
to this day.
So no, of course they didn't solve racial inequality. It hasn't been solved to this day. But the author did give it a sense of
Closure
she
to
gave
their story.
closure. She gave them purpose and fulfillment by going off together to her. Both were tied to their family in.
And they were going to be tied to a new man.
Yes, but
they decided to escape that together.
Yes, yeah. One because like I'm trying to say Linda's with her like abusive father.
Yeah.
She really needed to get out of that situation, and she thought the only way she could do it was by marrying. But together, they realized that there was a new alternative for better. Anyway, yeah.
It was resolved for the story.
Yeah.
But the overall
the themes came full circle, and it was very satisfying, and it was a nice, interesting end. I don't know why for the last chapter she had to put in Ruth's perspective. I think it was sweet, and that's my favorite part of the book, that just like Ruth kind of like noticing these things about her sister, especially the whole time Sarah felt like she had to like constantly watch over Ruth. So I found that very touching. Full circle would have been in Sarah or Linda's perspective, because the whole book was just going back and forth between the two.
So, question number 4 is, how might the story be different if it was from another character's point of view? So we basically pretty much just touched on this, but I think that the black characters would have had a similar story to tell.
Yes.
And the white characters might have had different stories to tell. Like, whereas, you know, Sarah was having these, you know, moral dilemmas within her head and having these, like, internal ethical debates. And, you know, she was seeing it from the point of view of somebody who almost had to uphold a certain stance on the civil rights movement. Whereas Judy seemed to be more open-minded to it from the beginning. So she would have been, whereas Linda was kind of rude to Sarah at some point, Judy would have never been like that.
Or might have been facing the pressure from her friends.
Yeah, and then Bo would have been, the whole time, would have been
like, this is
nastiness,
wrong, this is nasty.
Pure nastiness.
Yeah,
so that's an easy question
I don't think
to answer.
I would hope a book like that wouldn't make it to the New York Times bestseller.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
If for an adult read, like, it would have been maybe like one of the parents.
Yeah.
Or Sarah's father and Linda's father. So number 5 asks, does this story have an antagonist or villain? What traits does this character reveal about the story's hero?
The hero. Who is the hero? Sarah.
And Linda.
No, it's not. It's not.
So her antagonist would be
the administrative
faculty,
the teachers, the principal.
It wouldn't even be Linda's dad.
Her peers. No. Linda is a secondary character. She's not the hero. Not a secondary character, I mean, but she's secondary to Sarah.
She's just a protagonist. She's not the hero.
Yeah. That's the way to put it.
Like her main,
her peers.
Oh, okay.
Is it her peers?
Bo. That was
her main antagonist.
Yes, yeah.
And even some of her her ex-black
friends, who were
picking
on her or made her feel insecure for
leaving the school. So yeah, she had, and it revealed her perseverance.
Yes.
Her willingness to forgive.
Yes. If you're looking at from, like, let's say just Bo, who was always the one there, like, picking and it kind of
really terrorizing
her at school, was like, what wasn't he the one who like convinced the piano player to stay home and stuff like that?
I think it was,
or that was like a group effort.
It was a group idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then she had to go on before the white girl. The white girl was like, "Why'd you steal my thunder?" kind of thing.
Yeah, she felt embarrassed that
she go after that, forcing her in a situation to upstage a white girl at the time where that was a no-no.
Where it's almost like Sarah was damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly. I have to go on because I'm going to get in trouble if I don't.
And if I do go on,
I'm going to get in trouble for upstage it.
Yeah.
For upstaging. Question 6 says, are there any particular striking visual symbols in the book? And what do you think they represent?
The school,
the cops. Okay, so what do you think the school represents then? Just the conformity.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And authority.
Authority. Yeah, I was gonna say authority, and also white authority.
Yeah, white authority, and like
the school represented like community too, because Linda kept saying like, well, it's not that I hate Negroes, it's that I don't want them to integrate in our school. This is
we're
our
equal
school.
But separate. We're equal but separate.
It's not about color. It's about right and wrong.
Yes, yeah.
And when
You're
Sarah would
tainting
look
our
back
history,
fondly
yeah.
on her black school,
Yes.
she loved that aspect of being in that community.
Yes,
so
yeah.
it was really like about community.
And like one of the first thing was she was like, we've never been called the N word. She was like, that was the first time anyone called me.
Has
anyone said that to me?
So yeah, the school, the white school represented all of the. It was the place of. It was hell for Sarah.
Yes, yeah.
And white privilege too.
Yes, and she even made and she kept kind of mentioning it, which I thought was like not funny, but just like, wow, you're really sticking to that symbol with the toilet paper.
Yeah, the toilet paper.
She mentioned that like at least 3 times.
Yeah.
But
it's almost like the lowest form of humanity.
Yeah, and it's also
and
like
how stark the differences.
Was. Yes, yeah. Because she was like, wow, at our school it was like 1-ply rough, and this is like 3-ply cush.
Yeah, but also, it also just the toilet paper represents like
privilege.
Basic amenities that were
being a privilege for some.
Yeah. So, anyway.
The cops outside the school doing nothing were definitely a visual symbol. I couldn't read that part. I was like, oh my gosh. My gosh. How can you not?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To mention that.
And also how there was a part where they were referencing something that happened to a black boy in Mississippi and how really these white citizens take it upon themselves to be their own lawmakers at that point because these things are starting to be outlawed, but the police and like the law enforcement will not criminalize the people that are breaking these new laws.
I think even in one part of the book Sarah even said it. She was like, they weren't there to protect us, they were part of the crowd.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, and it was just really like heart drop, like my heart dropped.
Okay, so were there any other symbols?
I'd say the magazines.
That's
Sarah mentions them a couple of times.
And I think she says something about how she makes a comment, I think, about how like she doesn't see girls like me.
Yes, yeah. So I'd say the magazine. Her dress that she saved for the
all of the clothes, really.
Yeah, all
the clothes
of the clothes
were pretty much always.
They're very vivid. She always described them.
Yeah, and how when they started getting after the first day of school and they were being tormented.
Yeah.
They, instead of wearing their nice clothes, because they thought if we wear their nice clothes, they'll see us
and they'll see nicely. That we are people
and then they got
worth.
Bullied anyway, or not bullied, they were tortured at school, that they had to start wearing their rags to school.
Because what's the point of wasting
their nice
stuff,
So clothes was a big one.
Yes. I think those are the main symbols.
Yeah, those are the main ones.
So the newspaper, would you just say that's a motif?
Yeah, it's a motif for like current events
and of journalism. Yeah.
And truth.
Well, not even fake news.
Yeah,
because Linda's father owned the newspaper. So
question 7 is our movie cast one. So basically, we pick 6 main characters.
It was hard to pick which characters we wanted to.
Well, it was hard to pick which ones were main.
Everyone felt so important.
And there were two sets of main characters, because we would have loved to have
gotten everybody
from Sarah's side of the story.
Yeah, and
then there were some good ones where like Linda's side of the story were like specific tropes that you can picture certain actors in
playing. Yes, yeah.
So
like the
mother. Picked 6.
So for Sarah Dunbar, we chose Sky Jackson.
Yep.
And she is the main character from Everything and The Darkest Minds.
Oh yeah. So for Linda Harrison, we chose Morgan Lilly.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with her.
From Flipped. From Flipped, yeah, and I wanted to really remember that because that movie's like set in the 60s and I thought it was cute that it would be like another movie where she
has that visual.
Yeah, she does.
So for Judy Campbell, we picked Mackenzie Foy, and she's most known for her role as the CGI baby. The little girl from
the CGI baby.
Yeah, she was Renesmee in Twilight,
and she was also from The Nutcracker. With Keira Knightley.
Okay, yeah. So we then chose Bo Nash.
So we picked Josh Wiggins. And then who was our last character?
Oh, we also picked Ruth and William Harrison.
Oh, we picked Ruth, we picked
Layla Crawford.
Yes, yeah. And the last character, we were really like, because we only wanted to do 6, because like we're not doing the full cast, we're not Hollywood.
We usually only do 6.
Anyways, yeah. So I thought it was a big enough person to pick Linda's father, William Harrison. Thank you. And who did we pick?
Don Johnson.
The dad, the husband from Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know, he just gave me that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So the last question, as always, is what was our favorite moment or quote?
okay, so what was yours?
So, despite what I said earlier, my favorite part is Ruth's perspective, and I don't know if that's because I'm the younger sister.
I thought that I was the older sister and you were the younger one.
Yeah, it felt really kind of endearing and sweet, saying goodbye to Sarah like that, and it would almost be a great way to end and start if this were a series, and then the second book be in her perspective of her now kind of being the leader of and the rallier behind that for her school. I thought it was very sweet. I think it was a little, it wasn't fitting for me, but definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, I chose something from the end as well because it was really endearing. And it's hard to pick because the rest of the book the story was pretty brutal.
Yes,
It had some parts where it wasn't just constantly reading about just the torture that these people were enduring.
But the feeling of giving up.
But it was pretty bad, so it's hard to pick a favorite line from such a sad story.
Yes, yeah.
In history, obviously. But, so I did choose something from the end too, and it was when Sarah walked across the stage for graduation.
Oh, yeah.
And Ruth was so I'll read
proud.
it here. She goes, "My sister graduated from Jefferson High School. She's the first Negro to do that ever. That was my sister," I tell the white couple behind us. The man doesn't look up, but the woman smiles at me. "My sister Sarah." So I really liked that. That was a sweet part.
The whole last, it was really sweet.
It didn't fit. It was a little cheesy, but but it was nice.
Nice all the same. And to think oh my gosh, what if the community did just give up?
Yeah.
What if they did just give up? Where would the world be?
Yeah, exactly.
If there weren't these people who were willing to fight for the most basic rights
down there too.
Down there, yeah. They lived in Chicago, and no, it wasn't the best in Chicago and
to Virginia.
Yeah, to be a part of it.
Go to the one of the first schools being integrated in the South.
Yeah.
So
seemingly, where no person should have to fight for basic human rights. But they had to, and they chose to do it.
Yeah.
And there were moments when she said, what is this all for? It
can't be worth it.
It can't be worth it. We were fine the way we were.
Yeah.
But were you?
Yeah.
No, you were being denied basic things.
Yeah.
So it was hard to pick a favorite from that. There were so many powerful lines.
There were a lot of powerful statements, but to pick your favorite moment, I'm going to go with something a little bit more
endearing,
emotional.
And it ends with hope.
Yeah. Hope.
And we still need hope today.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, a really good read, and definitely
we would recommend.
So we would recommend The Lies We Tell Ourselves.
So before we move on to October's book, I want to mention that we are currently wrapping up the playlist, Lies We Tell Ourselves, and you're going to see it on our Spotify, Sarah and Carm.
We'll leave the link down
below, definitely. So now for October's book, There's Someone Inside Your House, by Stephanie Perkins, and we've read all of her other books before, the Anne and the French Kiss series, and this one's definitely different. It's part of the slasher
so there's
genre.
More? Oh, I thought you were gonna say trilogy.
No, it's part of the slasher genre. So it's not a young adult coming of age romance. It is a slasher murder mystery, and
you already read it, I haven't. We always do these videos and I haven't read it, but you have.
It is chilling. It is so good, and I think I could never have read any other book in the series that wasn't written by her, because she does bring, it is romantic in writing because she is
writing it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm excited for that, and perfect for October.
Yes.
If you want to know how that book turns out, you can give it a read, or you can follow us for more book club videos. We'll be reviewing that one at the beginning of November. But other than that,
hope to see you soon.